feminine leadership. Such an important piece to understanding what's been missing in our worlds. And in Native American cultures, in different areas around the planet that are in more touch with the feminine, we know that that is something that has always been this important part of leadership, of having a strong, stable nation, relations. And there are certain tribes that believe that it's like an eagle or a bird flying with just one wing when we're flying with the masculine. And what ends up happening is it flies in circles. And it's not until we initiate that feminine wing that the bird, the eagle, can fly straight. And so this is what this journey is all about. It is specifically for women. And we go through each one of the archetypes and where each one of these archetypes lives in your chart in this 13-week journey together. This 13-week journey is like me making the most nourishing, fortifying, yummy, delicious, intense, all the flavors soup and offering you a bowl each week. Maybe a different flavor coming online each week, but regardless, if you can imagine being nourished by the mother in the deepest way, the way that makes you feel so full and happy and fulfilled, that's what this journey is all about. Each one of these archetypes lives in your subconscious. Each one of these archetypes is a part of us, and it's been living in the dark for far too long. And when we bring our conscious awareness to each one of these beautiful, strong, fortifying archetypes and see where it lives in your chart, and you go on this journey each week with her, it brings about a part of you that you've had to divorce, that you've had to set aside, that you felt like you couldn't be one with. And this has happened through past life experiences. This has happened through family lineages. This has happened through your childhood. And in this journey where we go through each one of these archetypes for 13 weeks, you get to play with her. You get to experience her. You get to spend time with her. And when you do that, it breaks her shackles and she's no longer kept in the dark. And she now becomes an ally to you. She now becomes a part of you from a conscious perspective and not just a shadow perspective. Because regardless, no matter how much we shove and try to push all of the feminine archetypes into the shadow, she's still there. And when we force her into the shadow, that feeds the shadow power. And when we bring her out of the shadow, that brings her into the light of day where she belongs, where she deserves to be. So by saying yes to this journey with me, by saying yes to the other women that are on this journey with you, you're saying yes to feminine leadership. You're saying yes to these archetypes coming back and being a part of the light, being a part of our consciousness. So I asked people if they had questions, and I have a few questions about the journey that I'm going to go over. But first I want to give you the very specific details. It starts March 24th. We go to June 16th. And this journey takes us through each one of the 13 archetypes. And I'm going to list those out for you so you know which archetypes we're working with each week. And it also goes into each week. So that archetype has its own journey that you go through where you have this active experience, this active visualization, this active journey work to the temple with her. And then we look at where she is in your chart. And this is so powerful because she lives in each one of our charts, no matter what your gender is. She lives inside of your chart. And so when you can get to know her in this visceral way, she becomes a gift. She becomes an ally for you to do your work in the world, okay? So the 13 archetypes that we go into in this journey together of feminine leadership are the mother, maiden, crone, siren, passionista, innovator, queen, muse, shapeshifter, destroyer, shaman, priestess, and, well, that is the sexual priestess, and alchemist. So each one of these pieces is is a part of the wholeness of the feminine. It's the whole breadth of the feminine. The feminine is not just one thing. And I get really upset when I see this time and time again on social media and all these places where we're just taking a piece of the feminine and saying that's what it is or that's all it is. No, it is not. It's all of these things. And so to come and be nourished by these archetypes and to come strengthen them in your life and use them in your life. So use them as, a sister, as a mother, as a leader, as someone who has your own business, as someone who is working as in a system, out in the world. Like, start to activate these and bring them online for yourself. There's nothing more nourishing than this work. There's nothing more fortifying than this work. And this is the program that is the one that people come back to time and time again, where women are like, when are you doing that again? Because I want to be in the live round. I want to be in that energy. I want to be there for that. And I get it. I feel the same way, being able to lead it and being there each week, because it is so nourishing, because it is so important, because it is so missing. And so I'm going to go through a couple of the questions that I got. Of course, if you have questions to add to this, you can always comment below. And once I post this to my wall or I post this on YouTube, you can add your questions and I will try to come back to them. So one question was, what exactly am I getting when I say yes to feminine leadership? So what you're getting is this opportunity to sit in circle together each week. So each Friday we gather and we have a live call. And on that live call, we are pulling up each person's chart. So this is why I keep the group small. It's about 4 women. And I keep it small because we're going through each person's chart and we're activating her chart. We're activating that part of her. And when that happens, of course, things are going to come through for you and you're going to be able to process that with the group. You're going to be able to process what you learned from the past week with journeying with her on your own. So a part of this is each week you will be given an active visualization and the kind of what I call like a lecture on her, or the story of her, then the active guided visualization, and then a worksheet to go through. And for some of you, you'll want to do this on your own, like look at where she is in your chart and do that journaling on your own. And for some people, you wait and you can do that journaling after we have our call. But it's an expectation each week that you have already done the visualization and the lecture so that you can really digest and be with her in a real way. Hi, Kendra. So that when you come to that class together, we're just activating the chart and you can really already have that awareness of who she is and what she's awakening in you. And it's really powerful to do that, because then once we look at where she is in your chart, it starts to make sense in an even bigger way. And it's really beautiful. So each week you have your own self-paced part of it where you're doing the activation, you're doing the visualization, and Kendra has done the feminine leadership. So Kendra, do you have anything you want to share about feminine leadership? And it's okay if you don't. But I'm doing the Q&A, so people that have asked questions, I'm answering them here live. So if you have anything you want to add, I will read it to the group. Okay, so each week you have your own self-paced part, and then you have the group part. And the group part is really fun and really beautiful. And we also have an ongoing Voxer chat. And so what that's for is, like, a lot of times the way women use this is they'll listen to the visualization and they'll be doing the visualization, and then right after they want to process like what came up, and they'll share it with the group. And it's super powerful to see different things that come online for different people and to support each other, and any questions that come up where you're like, I'm curious about this thing that I saw or that happened, and then I can get in there and kind of answer in real time, so that it's not, you don't have to set it aside and wait till the weekly call. So Kendra says it's awesome. Thank you, Kendra, for being here and saying that. It is so awesome. Okay, so that's what it is. Each week we dive into each one of the 13 archetypes. So I think it's a 14-week journey, because we kind of start slow and I give you that time to really get introduced into the work. And then the next week we dive into the chart and the each archetype. So that's what it is. And someone asked, like, so this is a thing that a lot of people don't understand. So they asked if I'll be looking at charts, like if I'll be looking at your chart. Yes, every week we look at your chart. So basically every week you're getting a chart reading from me, which is a lot. It's a really beautiful experience to be able to receive that. So yes, I do look at your chart. And Kendra said, it's an amazing combination of intuitive and healing work with insight to your chart and the archetypes in history. Yes. Thank you so much. So yeah, you do get to look at your own chart. And then like Kendra said, you're getting that archetypal, getting to know them at like it's more of like in a sensory way. Like the chart is really amazing and it's kind of like heady, but before you do that, you go in and you have a visual experience, or you have a visceral experience, or like a sensation experience. So it's like embodying it before you even know where she lives in your chart. And I think that that is my favorite part about it, where you get to have a real tangible experience with her and then see where she lives in your chart. And then the last question was, how will I benefit from this as a coaching experience? Now, this is going to be different for everybody. Time and time again, what I hear women say is that they have a different experience with their own feminine, but then also with the feminine, with women, with even men that have feminine. We all have feminine. But you can start to see patterns, you can start to have recognition, and you can start to have reverence and an understanding of what that feminine is lacking in our culture and how to bring it in with more grace and courage and all of the things. So in terms of how this translates into your relationships, it's going to have a positive effect on your relationships. In terms of your work in the world, it's going to help your work in the world, because you're also going to see where you kind of have tended to go into shadow around the feminine when you were challenged or triggered in certain ways, and then how to create a healing and an integration around that so that you can come at it in a new energy, in a more empowered place. And instead of reacting and having a lot of reactivity, you can come from it from a more neutral place and a more empowered place, because you already have access to that most powerful goddess energy and all of the different archetypes and all of the different kind of hats that she wears. And when you do that, you're able to call on her for certain things, or kind of just have her, you know that she has your back in a way. So in a sense, so that's what I would say. And in terms of like the outcome, I can't really speak too much to the outcome, because it's so much of a process-based journey, and it's so much of a unique journey that I never want to guarantee certain outcomes. And I also want to have reverence and understanding that if you're drawn to this program because you want to step into your feminine leadership, you're going to do that, and you're going to get from it what you need to get from it. And that's kind of all I will promise about that. So yeah, let's see. What else? I feel like there was one other thing that I wanted to say. Yeah, so one of the biggest things about this work that I just wanted to add to it is that each week we build upon and we kind of build her into your awareness and into your life. And it's each week there are going to be times where it's more challenging and you need more support. And so that's why we do have like the other ways to connect with each other through Voxer throughout the week, because certain archetypes are going to trigger you in a different way, or they might bring about like a memory, or they might bring about a past life experience or a past life wound. And that trigger can be intense. And so just know that I hold the space with such reverence, and that I'm really committing myself to these 13, 14 weeks of holding that container safe and holding that container secure for women to really de-armor that heart and de-armor ourselves, and to show up with vulnerability and trust that you're going to be held. And that is invaluable. So I'm so excited to see who jumps into this spring's journey of feminine leadership, the archetypes and astrology for success. One thing that I do want to communicate is that for International Women's Day, throughout the rest of today, when you register pay in full, you also get a 2-hour deep dive with me one-on-one outside of our program together before we start, so that you'll have this deeper understanding of the embodiment work, of the astrological work, and so that you're getting your core, like, typical astrological reading. Because in this journey of the archetypes and astrology for feminine leadership, we don't talk about the popular ones that we talk a lot about in a chart reading. We don't talk about Jupiter. I mean, he does these, they do come up. They come up for sure, but they're not like the main focus. So when you register today, you get that. Thank you for being here, Kendra. So today's the last day to do that. And then the other thing, so March 8th is today. And when you sign up for a payment plan through today, there is a special code that you can reach out to me if you want to do the payment plan. And I can't even remember exactly what it is. It's through the Invoke Your Inner Oracle free masterclass that you have access to that. So if you're not already in that program, you can reach out to me. We can get you in there, and you can see if it, if you want to use that promo code. So that's about it. Thank you all for being here. Happy International Women's Day. I'm celebrating the divine feminine in all her forms today, and I hope that you are too. And yeah, reach out if you have any further questions.